Hello everybody, welcome! My name is Ursa, and this is Millennia, the new 4X grand strategy game by Paradox, and today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be showing you how to win the game on Grandmaster, the hardest difficulty that this game has to offer. If you fancy giving this strategy a try for yourself, remember these are the details I'm using today. All of the AI is set to Grandmaster, and we're playing a tiny continents map with 4 players. I wanted to do a smaller map that every single computer could render and play properly, regardless of your specs. Note the most important thing. It doesn't matter who you play, but I recommend you pick this, for there are a lot of different starting bonuses you can have in Millennia, and they are, well, some are better than others, but if you want to play this strategy, I advise you pick Culture. The aim of this guide is to show you how to reliably, 100% of the time, beat the Grandmaster AI to Age 2 and Age 3. Ages and Millennia are collections of tech that you need to go through to then unlock the next stage. In this case, to go to the Age of Bronze, we need to research 3 different techs and then unlock the Age of Bronze itself. Once you get to the Age of Bronze, it's the same deal. Unlock 3 techs and go to either the Age of Iron or another one of the ages stem from there. The big problem with Grandmaster AI is that it's very, very powerful. It's quick, it spreads fast, it has a lot of science, and it will beat you pretty much always to Age 2 and Age 3. Now, why is this a problem? Well, if we go to Age 2 first, we unlock some innovation, which unlocks some useful, one-off, very powerful improvements that change in every game you want. If you can get to the age first, it's always a good thing. Secondly, tech gets exponentially better as you get through the game. Sure, having tribal elders or scouting is really good at the beginning of the game, but if you can get to the Age of Kings, the 4th age, as quickly as possible, well, everything develops very quickly from there. Tech is important. It's all important in Millennia. Get left behind at your own peril. And thirdly, once we come out of the Age of Bronze, we get choices. We can either go to the Age of Iron, the Age of Blood, or the Age of Heroes. If you have a strategy that requires you to go into one of those ages in particular, you don't want the AI to pick for you. The choice is out of your hands. They may do something that doesn't suit you at all. Going for a peaceful build and the AI goes for the Age of Blood? Well, tough. You're at war. Going for an aggressive build and it goes Age of Heroes? Well, Age of Blood would have been helpful. So my mission today, ladies and gentlemen, is to show you how to get to the next stage first, how to beat the AI every time. In this video, I'm going to show you 2 different methods. Firstly, I'm going to show you a peaceful method, and secondly, I'm going to show you an aggressive method. Depending on your playstyle, people think that you have to go aggressive on Millennia to do well. That's not necessarily true. There are peaceful ways of doing this, and I will show you how to do that today. This is the peaceful version. Now, it goes without saying that if you want to tech up fast, you need knowledge. Currently, you start the game with 2 knowledge per turn, and there's a few ways that we can look to unlock more knowledge. Unlocking tribal elders gives us the council building. That gives us +1 knowledge. That's a 50% boost. That's lovely. And we start with tribal government. After 26 government points, we get +1 knowledge into our homeland. If we get both of those upgrades, we will go from 2 knowledge to 4 knowledge per turn. That's a big deal. However, it's not the only thing we can do, and this is why culture is so important for us. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that I have noticed, and one of the things that I'm seeing a lot in the comments on a lot of Millennia videos at the moment, is that people are only just discovering how powerful local reforms is. That's why we went for bonus culture at the beginning of the game. Now, you don't need it. Other starting powers give you other bonuses, and some of them scale later into the game. Having extra movement on your non-combat units or on your naval units, for instance, is something that scales right until the end of the game, whereas +1 culture per turn, well, that's going to get very bad very quickly, but it's all about a snowball. It's all about that early game advantage, and culture is very handy. In this peaceful strategy, the first thing you want to do is not go scouting. You want to unlock tribal elders as fast as you can. Now, scouts are very good. The map is full of treasures, it's full of tribal villages, it's full of bonuses and natural landmarks, but we need to get knowledge as fast as possible, and if we don't jump on the council building as quickly as we can, the Grandmaster AI will leave us in the dust. It's also worth pointing out, this particular start, I've got a couple of forests, but we have no resources in this start. I'm not showing you a particularly powerful starting location. This is a very, very average start. I would recommend building your cavalry. Now, sure, you could go for scouting and get a 3 scout, and that's all very well and good, but let's look at the other buildings you can build. Walls, right now, it's not the most important thing you can be doing. A town centre will give you government XP, but that could be ignored because we don't need crazy amounts of government XP to get to oral history. It's useful, but not essential. The Dolman, that will increase the tiles that you can work. It will spread your terrain around, make sure you grab more territory, but right now, my capital's only 1 population. I don't need more land. I can't work it, and everything else is currently locked, which means we have the choice between levy workers. We could get a few more improvement points per turn, but right now, there's not really much I can do. I could put a hunting camp down for a little bit more food, but Edinburgh's growing nicely. I could go for a warband, but right now warbands, they're not particularly powerful. Cavalry are quicker, they explore around the map. It's all good. You start with 2 warbands. I advise that you go and explore around, see what you can find. Find out as much of the map as you can. Look, here we go, for things like this, tribal camps. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the first decisions that you can make. Now, this decision has been given to me a little bit earlier than I was expecting because we are only 2 turns off finishing our culture. We have the choice between getting knowledge and culture. If you want to beat the AI on Grandmaster difficulty, be very careful of one-off bonuses that disappear afterwards. 5 knowledge is good. It will take 2.5 turns off our research. But culture, if I was to give myself 5 culture right now, I would finish my culture power, and that will let me pick the wonderful local reforms. Local reforms boosts regional efficiency or resources generated in a region for 5 turns. What does that mean? It means all of this domain and income is increased by 50%. That means, yes, it does indeed mean that I get another 50% knowledge, which means I go to 3 knowledge per turn rather than 2. And that happens for 5 turns. Hang on, wait a minute. This just offered me 5 knowledge, but I took 5 culture, but now I'm going to use local reforms on my city, and that will give me 5 knowledge. So I'm still getting my knowledge, I'm just waiting 5 turns for it. I can be patient. But better than that, I'm going to be getting extra wealth, extra culture, extra food, extra production, extra government XP. Watch these yields. 2, 3, and then government XP is currently +2. If I use local reforms, bam, 3, 4.5, and 3. Everything is 50% faster, and more importantly, because I'm making more food now, Edinburgh is growing at twice the rate it was before, and I've shaved a turn off my scout. The next culture power unlocks in 4 turns. Oh look, my +1 culture per turn I got from the beginning of the game. That's now another 50%, so I'm getting 1.5, and it means that I'm going to get my culture power at the same time as my local reforms dissipates, so I can just keep chaining them. Edinburgh can always be fully boosted. Now, one of the things that people often do really quickly is create a town. Towns are really useful. You pop them down on the edge of your borders then grow around them, and it gives you more land. But ladies and gentlemen, I have no improvement points. I have 1 population. You don't need a town. Until you get to about 5 to 6 population, towns are useless. The other thing that I would also stress is that I don't know what my lands look like. What if I put a town up here? I mean, it turns out there's tons of resources just out of the fog of war. It's always worth waiting. Always worth being careful, exploring around you, finding the vassal states, finding the tribal villages, see what you can do. Remember, this particular run, I'm going to be playing peacefully. We are not going to be attacking anyone. And you can see I've got my scout running in the other direction. Tribal villages will be finished in 1 turn. So I'm just going to squeeze out another cavalry quickly. It's not quite efficient. We're going to take 2 turns to finish this and then 1 turn to finish my tech, but it'll be close enough. Once Tribal Elders finishes, you've now got a choice. You can go for workers or farming to unlock different improvements and to get more improvement points to grow your city, but there's something you may notice. I'm already at 200%. Right now, Edinburgh doesn't need to get any improvements. It's growing as fast as it can. This is the power of local reforms. So I would suggest not rushing that. Either go for scouting or defenses. Now, scouting gives you a 3 scout. That's all very useful. It lets you move through deep forest. But defenses, this gives you a 3 archer, and archers will help you to defeat barbarians. Barbarians are absolutely terrifying, and yes, I know I said I was going to be playing this peaceful. By that I mean I'm not going to be attacking little vassal states, and I'm not going to be attacking the AI. Barbarians are always fair game, and you should always be careful about leaving them alone. So on this particular run, I will go scouting next, but then we're going to go defenses in order to get my archer up. That will just give me enough strength to stop the barbarians from running over me. We found 1 landmark. If we can find 3, fantastic, but it's not really important for this strategy per se. You may also notice I've left this government XP for a little bit. I could pick up tribal farming. I want to go to oral history as quickly as I can, but +1 food per turn is not very useful if I'm already at 200%, so it doesn't actually make, I mean, admittedly, I forgot to click it, but it hasn't done anything for me, and it wouldn't have done anything for me. If I click this now, you can see, still says 200%, doesn't make a difference. I would always avoid going tribal army. This is just a government domain power. You then need to spend 20 of your government XP to get a warband. It's really expensive. You would rather get settlers, and you'd rather make sure you get to tribalism reformed, oral history, community projects. These are more important than trying to raise an army. Also, warbands are really rubbish. And as we go, keep finding things around the map, keep using it to your advantage. In this particular case, I've been offered the chance to get another scout cavalry, so I will take it. I will send the cavalry out, explore around the map, find things. AI to my north. Lovely. I've hit my second population. My culture power is ready, but you'll notice that I still have 3 knowledge and 4.5 culture. That's because my local reforms has yet to finish. What people forget is that you can let culture overflow. You don't have to click the culture power immediately. So what I'm going to do is let local reforms run out and then re-up it. That will maximize the amount of time that I have that benefit. See, we're discovering landmarks. These just help to level your scouts up a little bit. They're not overly important. The more about the map you can find, the better. Barbarian camps. Yeah, give those a little bit of a wide berth if you can. They're a little nasty. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Grandmaster AI. Look at how many troops they have. A warband, a leader, 2 warbands and a leader, a scout. That is a lot of units. That is one of the many reasons why we have to be a little bit careful. So I clicked on the local reforms of a culture power. That gets rid of the notification at the bottom, but I don't have to click anything. Now, one of the tempting things to do, if you want to guarantee that you tech up and get to the Age of Bronze first, this is the point of the entire guide, you might be tempted to click this button, Eureka. This gives you 5 extra knowledge. That would take a turn and a half off my research. But we've already said 5 knowledge is nothing, because local reforms gives me 5 knowledge, but it also gives me extra government XP, extra wealth, extra production, extra food. There is no point going for Eureka, especially not whilst it gives you 5 knowledge. Save it, hold it off, be careful, and make sure you go for a council building. This is next up. +1 knowledge per turn. That's a 50% boost to your knowledge. It's very, very much like rushing a campus in Civ 6. I would strongly recommend you do it. You can see now my research, my culture, they've both gone down to their usual levels. So now that I've got 22.5 culture out of 16, now I will go local reforms, use it on Edinburgh again, and you can see we're going to re-up our culture power just as it finishes again. The power of +1 culture per turn, ladies and gentlemen, it's wonderful. And we are also rushing oral history because I'm getting 3 government XP, not 2 per turn. It's like I built myself the town center. I'm getting that bonus already, but I didn't need to do anything. Isn't it wonderful? Early game, by the way, warfare XP is fun and useful, but if you're going to get 3 units like an archer, take the archer. That's what I would always say. Just stops barbarians from getting on top of you. And barbarians, they suck. You can see right now, I have my units just running in different directions as far as I can. Early game on Grandmaster, you need to explore as quickly as possible. You saw how many units the Grandmaster AI has? Barb camps, tribal villages, landmarks, they will find them quicker than you will because of the sheer quantity of units you've got. You have to move quick. You have to go quick. Oh, you see what I mean? Barbarians. Ouch. Ouchie. Don't stay and fight. Run away. Exploration is important, not fighting barbarians. Not at least until we've built a little bit of an army. It's always worth, by the way, having a look at the needs of your city. Currently, I'm growing in 2 turns, and I've got 200% food, but it's 9 of 4, and I'm working a 2 food tile. If right now I was to force work another forest, sure, I'd go to 188%, but I'm still growing in 2 turns, and I've got an extra production now, which means I've taken a turn off my council to do it. Use the advantages as they're given to you. That's what I say. Now I have finished scouting. Now I have another 3 scout. Excellent. Head in different directions. Find me what you can. A tribal village. Lovely. And another warband. I will take that because now I've got 2. I can meet them up with the archer that I have taken and liberated over in this direction, and then we'll have a force that we can use to kill some barbarians. Killing barb camps is something that gives you huge amounts of bonuses, and I would advise you don't leave them alone because they will continue spawning and they will be a nightmare. Because of that, again, remember, my city is growing really nicely. It doesn't need any improvements right now. It physically wouldn't help it, so I'm going to ignore workers and farming and go straight to the defenses. One thing I love to do, explore around the borders of AI. Really get stuck in. You want to know where they're settling, where their spheres of influence are, where the city-states are in case they get killed. It's always worth having a peek. Knowledge is power in this game, just like it is in any 4X game. 20 government XP, jump on oral history. +1 knowledge per turn. Now I've gone from 2 to 3, and with the 50% bonus, that means I'm gaining 4.5 knowledge per turn. I've already, by turn 10, doubled my knowledge per turn. And in 2 turns, it's going to get even better. Now that I've hit 3 population, by the way, this is now a good time to look at the needs of your city. You can see we are now on 175%. I'm working both of these forests. That's good, but I could use a little bit more food. So So because I've saved up some improvement points, I will look to put a hunting camp down. This just turns this into a 3 food tile. It's only worth 6 improvement points, and bam, I can still work the extra forest tiles, and now I can work the hunting camp, and the city will grow a lot quicker. Not as quickly as possibly it could, but it means I can keep the production up. You're always balancing, always balancing. I think the council building, it's going to work itself out in 2 turns anyway. All right, yeah, we're just constantly balancing this up. We want to rush the council, but there's no point in overbuilding it. So I've taken a turn off my growth there. Brilliant. Here's a barbarian camp, just the other side of Portland. We found it. We'll go and use it where we can. So now we have a choice between exploration XP and warfare XP. I'm going to be showing you a peaceful strategy that involves really not doing very much with your cities. In order to make this work, we need exploration XP. So I'm going to go for that over warfare XP, but other strategies are available. 20 exploration XP. It's really tempting to buy another scout. Don't waste your domain powers on such a cheap unit. Yes, I know it's a 3 scout, but a cavalry is only worth 10 production. That is nothing. Build them. The XP is way better for you. Don't be consumed by greed. Culture power is ready, but I haven't lost my bonus yet, so we're just gonna save it like we were doing before. And yes, the barbarians are here and could be killed, but until my warband meets up with my archer, I'm just gonna avoid any unnecessary confrontation right now. Getting an archer into your troops makes a huge difference. Oh, every time you see government XP, just go for it. It's really good. I need 1 more point and I can get 1 more improvement point per turn, although I will be saving that up and saving up to 25 thirst. Innovation's great, but +2 culture per turn, that will be, again, 50% increased, and I'll go to 7.5 culture per turn. It just means you can continue chaining these benefits. This is what I mean. AI will find these landmarks before you every single time, apart from this one. Which one's that? Is that Barrier Reef? Very far south in the tundra for Barrier Reef? Sure. This time I've been offered wealth or production. I'm going to finish the production off because it means that my council will finish and I'll have some overflow to spend on something else afterwards. Beautiful. And again, culture power, click the button, don't click anything, let the turn roll over. Oh, that's painful. My scout found a landmark and then got killed by a double barb attack. It's rare they both attack you in 1 turn. And here we go. Brazil wants to complete the Age of Bronze. It's turn 12, ladies and gentlemen, and the AI is already going for the second age. Luckily for us, we have completed defenses. We have a council building and we can do Age of Bronze in 5 turns, not in 6. Yes, you may have started it before us, but we have the means of scientific production. And oh look, our research and culture has gone down again. We better use local reforms, and bam, now we're doing it in 4 turns. We have taken another turn off the Age of Bronze. Even if I'd gone for Eureka, I wouldn't have got there any quicker, and I'm getting all of the other yields at the same time. Right now, as you can see, we have a barb camp just outside our city. Barbs are starting to swarm around. I cannot let barbs get on top of me too much, so as much as going for a town center or a dolman or a lookout or anything like this is really quite tempting, I'm going to take another archer. Let your guard down at your own peril, I will say. And you can see I've got another archer here. More troops. Always more troops. Gather them together. Let them travel in armies. Don't let them get picked off one at a time. Exploration XP or government XP. You can see my culture is just about to get to the point where it's not going to fill itself up every time I want a culture power. So we will get to the point very soon where we want to increase our culture. However, we are getting now 3 government XP per turn, and I am not getting an exploration XP per turn. I want exploration XP, so we will click that. It's a very weird situation where that's the case. We will go for tribalism reform and we will go for community projects, but this is a peaceful strategy. We don't need to rush it right now. Look at that. In a single turn, I have leaped over Brazil. The United Kingdom will finish the age first. You better believe we will. You better believe we will. Second landmark, more exploration XP. I can upgrade to a leader now. That's useful. If only we'd been able to claim this one, eh? Then we could have gone for an Age of Heroes and Age 3, but not everything goes your way all the time. Now we stack units for barbarian killing. 2 archers, 1 warband. That seems to be a very good early game combo. You just need 1 warband to keep your troops safe, and the archers will just brutalize anything that pops up. And you can see, yet again, I'm going for another archer. Yes, it would be good to go for a town center. Yes, it'd be good for a dolman, but I can't let barbarians stunt my growth and my exploration here. This is really important that we just keep going. You can see I haven't used my improvement points. Don't worry, there's a reason for this, but just hanging on for 1 more turn. And by the way, 10 innovation, 2 culture. Don't mind if I do. Now I'm on 7.5 culture per turn. Oh yeah, very much helps that I can get this stack together and start to kill barbs now. And hey presto, I think that's a fairly guaranteed peaceful Age of Bronze. First thing we get to do is pick a domain, and this is the peaceful domain I was thinking. Naturalists. Naturalists leverage the terrain to their advantage, forging to gain bonuses to their units, borders, and lots of resources without having to spend as many improvement points. It all sounds very good. First of all, we can get +1 food from foraging unimproved tiles. I don't mind if I do. Then I can give my capital city 2 housing. Well, it's not as good. It just helps the city grow without me needing to do anything. Oh look, the forest tiles are now giving me 2 food and 1 production. They are as good as the hunting camps. It all looks lovely, doesn't it? Edinburgh's going to keep growing. I do want it to continue growing, however, which means I need to increase its region size, or region level. There's a few ways to do that. Food storage will increase the region level. A town will increase the region level. The food stockpile does tend to be a good way of doing that. I'm just going to now pick up the Dolman. This will help me to increase my borders and gain more territory so that I can work it. My population is now hitting that sort of cap, and I will start to gain 1.5 exploration XP per turn just by being a naturalist. Eventually, I want to get the lookout. You know what? I'm going to get the lookout first. Then we can just make sure that we can keep pushing through. I want to get the 0.5 culture from foraging unimproved forest tiles as quick as I can. That's a really big one. The good thing about going into the Age of Bronze is that everything in the Age of Stone is cheaper. Plus, all of the Grandmaster AI will have worked on everything and made it cheaper for you. Minus 30% cost on farming, minus 20% on workers. We do want to get the food stockpile as quickly as we can. So I'm going to use 1 turn to pick up farming, and then we'll start on Age of Bronze tech. What I really want to go for is belief. This unlocks a temple, which gives me a culture and a knowledge. Again, all stacking up. I also want things like officials to get a 3 envoy, and discipline to be able to build a better army to fight against barbarians. The lookout is important, but the food stockpile is more important because I don't want to build a town in Edinburgh. I'm too busy using my culture power for local reforms. I'm on 4 science per turn, or 4 knowledge per turn, which means I will be getting +2 for 5 turns, which is 10 knowledge. Oh wait, a Eureka is still 10 knowledge. Still makes no sense to go through it. And then we'll time this perfectly. The food storage will push the region level up. It'll keep the food nice and happy, and then we'll unlock belief at the same time, which will give us more knowledge and will let us go from there. There you go, you see? Population limit. We only have a regional level of 1, which means you get 5 population max. But don't worry, this will fix it. So my 2 stacks of armies, 4 archers, and 2 warbands, we are now clearing barbarian camps. Barbarian camps themselves, they tend to be quite lightly defended, and the good thing about taking so many archers in is that you can often clear the troop in the camp before you actually finish the fight. Now, unfortunately, all my archers, they just shot the walls repeatedly, but sometimes you can kill the warband inside before you actually take the walls down, which means the camp is basically useless and can just be attacked whenever you want it to. Oh well, we'll just have to wait. If you're given knowledge at any point, by the way, you might as well take it. This is still 2 turns worth of knowledge. If you want to keep ahead of the AI, this is really good. Innovation will often give you things in the long run, but it's also a total random. I'm trying to teach a sort of consistent strategy here, so I'll just, pick that. But both are cool options. Now let's go for officials. This 3 envoy, that's what we need. There we go. Barb camp cleared. This is why it's so useful. Exploration XP. Thank you so much. That will help me to keep boosting my naturalists. Housing improvements give you food. That's something that I'm looking forward to. Means you can just keep growing and growing and growing. I've been holding on to my warfare experience as well because it's useful to keep that so that you can build leaders. These increase the tactics of your units and generally let you keep them alive for longer. Always good to have. Region level 2 achieved. Now straight into a temple. Let's get more knowledge and culture. Keep it ticking up and up and up. Again, if you're going to give me exploration XP, I'm going to take it. Engineering XP is very useful, but if it's your government, you might as well go for it. Housing, done. Now we're on to Sacred Forest. 70 is quite difficult to get to, but extra culture from every unimproved forest tile? Oh yeah, that's pretty good. And yes, towns are useful, but there are other ways of getting towns. For now, local reforms is the best thing to do. Keeps your city growing, keeps it productive, keeps your science high. Now that we have community projects, by the way, I'm letting my government XP just tick and tick and tick. Well, this is a fun innovation. +1 housing from foraging unimproved forest tiles. Sure, there you go. We're very unlikely to ever need housing at the moment because we get 1 housing from our forests. Beautiful. Now that we are at 6 pop, by the way, yes, having a dolman at this point would be useful, but we are focusing on science. Right now, I can just take a little bit of inefficiency in the city. That's fine. We'll keep ourselves safe. We'll keep ourselves secure. And now we also have an envoy. I could use the envoy to go and try and trade with the Ottomans, but I I think for now I'm going to try and take over one of these little micro-states. Maybe Malaga. This is a little close to them. I think I would provoke a fight if I claim this one. So let's take this little vassal. This is more in our sphere of influence. My next tech, if I really wanted to get kind of fighty, discipline would be very useful. But I'm going to go mining at the moment. I feel fairly secure. I would like the 3 pioneer. It'll let me set an outpost up, and that'll be a good way of bringing resources into my city. Again, you may be asking, why am I saving all these improvement points up? There's really nothing I can do with them right now. Hunting camp, yes, will give me more food, but I have enough food. Housing I don't need. There's nothing production-wise that I could do that would take away from this unimproved forest, and I've got no hills, so until our borders expand, which they will do eventually, I'm just not in a rush. Some diplomacy XP. Brilliant. If I can save up 30 of that and get another envoy. Envoys are fun. And hey presto, my first vassal, providing me a whopping 0.1 wealth per turn, which is good. I need that wealth. I am running low on the wealth. Anyway, mining is finished, and if we discovered that 3rd landmark, we could have gone for Age of Heroes. Age of Iron is fine. Barb camp destroyed, some more diplomacy XP, envoy spawned. Take another one of these vassals. You can see as well, we are the first to get to the Age of Iron tech. Still a long way to go. We are doing things very nicely now. I tell you what, these barbarians in Edinburgh, they're being a little bit annoying, but local reforms once again will come to the rescue. Here is my first outpost. Now, the good thing about this outpost is that I can pop a trade post down and give myself access to this flax. That will give me some actual gold per turn, which is useful because, yeah, I'm not getting any at the moment. We have almost 0 second city in there, and you can see my science has gone up now. We're going to be finishing this in 6 turns, and the temple will finish just after that. Let's get that Dolman finished now. We can work the lands around Edinburgh, make sure we're growing. Again, I'm not even using all of the tiles that I could, but I still have 200% food and housing, and I'm saving up my improvement points per turn. Yes, there's probably more I could be doing with it, but right now, if the city's growing, you know? Just enjoy it. This spare government XP, I could save it for age 3, but I'm going to go for a settler right now. Peaceful expansion. It's important. I'm looking for somewhere with both forest and resources down on the coast in this direction. Seems like a really good plan. You can see such is our tech lead. We're going so quickly through this. The Grandmaster AI hasn't actually even started on the Iron Age yet. Our culture, our research, it's all very, very high. Now, you've got to make sure you keep outposts safe. That is one thing that I always forget to do with an outpost. And there you have it. We push into age 3 fastest. Our borders are expanding. We have new vassals. We've got a decent barbarian killing army. And we're the first to enjoy the beautiful pics of the Age of Iron with all of the beauty of new governments and new technologies for us. And that is the peaceful way. That is the naturalist way of doing this. But there are other ways that you can get to this same goal. The promised land can be obtained a little bit more aggressively. And no, ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. I'm not talking about raiders, because you know, we know raiders are more powerful. Let me show you option 2. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, back on turn 1, back in Edinburgh, and we're going to go aggressive this time, but not raiders. This is a strategy where we can get to exactly the same place, but we're going to be a tad more forceful about how we go about it. The start is pretty much the same. We're going to go for tribal elders. I believe going for this first really pays off in the long run. I'm going to be using my local reforms to get through and push the tech up as fast as we can. Being honest with you, the game looks almost identical until we get to age 2. Often it's quite fun playing the same map over and over. I'm terrible at remembering where things are, but it's interesting to see how Millennia generates things in. How much is RNG and how much is actually spawn set. For instance, the culture is here again, so that hasn't changed. Quite nice actually, because you can see how effective one strategy is compared to another. Same as before, tribal farming, second scout. But this time, once we've done tribal elders, instead of going for scouting, I'm going to go for defenses first. I want to get that archer as quickly as possible. We need to engage in a little bit of fisticuffs this time. Do you reckon we can get this this cavalry? This one died before it got to the landmark last time. Let's give it a try this time and see if we can find it. Just remember, keep that culture power handy. Don't use it too quickly. After the second scout, straight into council. Just keep repeating local reforms. Watch this. 9 turns on the council, but then bam, 6 turns. 50%, man. Makes a big difference early game. Really does. There's my 3 archer. Back you go, friend. Back you go. This time after defenses, we're not going to go scouting. We're going to go farming. Getting that food stockpile is a little bit more important with the strategy that I've got cooking up this time round. And I'll tell you for free now, exploration XP, not as important in this strategy. Warfare XP, it is. There's the knowledge. Perfect. 4.5 per turn already. More government government XP. Beautiful. I actually managed to survive with the scout this time around. Who knows? Maybe we'll do it. It's not going to make a blinding bit of difference, but I'll ruin that for you right now. But who knows, eh? Who knows? This time, rather than rushing production, I'm going to take the wealth. I need a little bit of a wealth stockpile because we need to have more army, more supplies to keep more troops going for longer. But this extra government XP, oh, that looks really good. Next turn, we can get the extra culture per turn. I think I'm going to lose my scout doing this, but we found it. We found the landmark. Actually, before they die, whee! Back you come to my land. I can make you into a leader, and we're going to use you for army. Actually, this is really good. Now I can combine you with the archers, and we have a fully blown army already. Innovation, culture. Brazil's going to the Age of Bronze. Oh no, what a shame. They're doing it in 6 turns. Oh wait, I'm doing it in 5 turns. Nah, I lied. I'm doing it in 4 turns. You know the drill. We need to be ready for a huge glut in population, so we're going to go third stockpile. Get the region level sorted as fast as we can. There you go. Brazil was doing it, but I've taken over yet again. I think I walked straight past that landmark, didn't I? What did I do? Good guy, Ursa. Good guy. There we go. Same as before, we hit Age 2 first, the UK, forging the way. This time, we're going to be going aggressive. We're going to be getting angry. And we're not going for raiders. We all know the raider way. Raiders are really good. You spawn hundreds of them and you sack everything. No. Instead, we're going to go for something slightly different. The mound builders. Yes. Very different indeed. Now, this is all about engineering XP, which we have pretty much 0 of at the moment. But don't worry, we'll get those soon. First of all, we need to unlock 15 of it. We'll be gaining 1.5 per turn because of my beautiful local reforms. My capital's already got the third stockpile sorted. Now I could work on my work camp, but the most important thing I get at the moment is the burial mound itself. That is what I really need to do to get my city large. Mound builders are all about building huge cities. That's exactly what I plan on doing. Instead of going for belief right out of the bat, this time we'll be going discipline. This unlocks a maximum army size. It unlocks a spear unit. There's a lot of fun things we can do, especially when you've got army lurking around like we do. And yes, buildings are all very well important. I'm going to be picking up 2 more archers. Very aggressive start. Very aggressive start indeed. Whilst we're waiting, let's start working on this barbarian encampment. Again, we know the trick. The archers, they shoot over the walls, deal with the barbarian itself. The leader now powers everyone up by 10%. It's good. Even just 2 warband should be able to just break in now and do the damage here. And this playthrough is all about chaos. Now that I'm killing barbarians, yes, I absolutely would love to take a crossbow. That is a ridiculously powerful unit. Don't worry about chaos. That'll sort itself out, I'm sure. So now that I've got crossbow, I don't need this immediately. Let's get the dolman. I need olives. I need game. I need anything that's going to give me wealth per turn, because at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, we're running out of it again. It's just what happens when you take a lot of extra units into battle. It's normal. It's to be expected. Well, there we go. There's always something if you look for it. 100 wealth. That'll keep us going for a tiny bit. Not as long as we might hope, but at least a tiny bit. Discipline. Complete. Now we go for belief. We need to focus on our science again. We can now look to stack up a pretty decent army. First of all, this crossbow. By far the most powerful of any of our units. Then a leader. Slightly battered, but gives 10%. Then we will upgrade one of my warband to a spear. In fact, why not both? With a single crossbow, we don't really need to worry too much about more archers in the back line. And now we can start attacking these cities. This is where this strategy begins to get a little bit more aggressive than before. Do you see that crossbow attack on the militia? The militia also are not going to be they can't get through our spears. Our spears are far too tough. So yes, this city is much harder to kill than anything we thought before. That's true. I'm not gonna complain or argue against that. But the defense of my units is such that they cannot physically hurt me even if they wanted to. In fact, actually, I think these archers would just be able to kill the remaining militia easily. And thus, the aggressive playthrough. Destroy 100 wealth, 10 chaos, destroy Durban, bring 2 more population back to Edinburgh. Tasty. Innovations are always fun, and the mound builder innovation is particularly fun. Burial mounds give +1 improvement points. Very good. Ottomans have decided this time to declare hostilities against me. We'll be okay. Rather annoying, and barbarians are munching through my archers, which is really really annoying. Please, leave them alone. These warlords, they're very tough. I mean, crossbows deal with them pretty accurately, but the warlords themselves are pretty tough. The Dolman is finished. My borders will expand momentarily. Time for a work camp. Let's get a few more engineering points in my land. That's always a nice little addition of joy. And Portland, I have a very strong army now. I think I might have lost a spear there, but we are just pressing the advantage, killing militia wherever we can. Excellent. It's tempting to go knowledge, isn't it? But when you've gone mound builders, you need these improvement points, because now it gets a little bit silly. The burial mound, 2 culture and 1 improvement point. It's pretty fun. You can only put on the grassland, but now that that's gone down, look at the culture increase. Yes, lovely. This is what we're going to use to grow my cities very, very quickly indeed. Especially now that we have all of this extra space, extra resources, and an extra burial mound. 6 improvement points per turn now. I think I'm going to work both of them. Yes, I know the food isn't quite as good, but look at that culture per turn. That's what we're looking for now. Next up, community. We need to start some production chains, and food, wood, all of this stuff needs to be put into my lands as quickly as possible, especially because with the militia being killed in Portland, my army has created another 2 population for Edinburgh. Don't worry about that blood age thing. That's fine. Sure, nothing bad will come out of that at all. Nothing bad. I have 3 burial mounds down now, and given my culture is recycling every 3 turns or so, my mission now is to let it accumulate, save it up, renew my local reforms, and then get a town. Seeing as we have that much extra culture, I can afford to do both things and not let the local reform slide, which is a ridiculous combination. Chaos event hit. I lost a scout. Oh, that's annoying. It was one of these. Never mind, we can bring it back to my land. Scouts at the moment, I am recycling, making them into leaders. These are very, very good at fighting. Free text done. This time, I'm going to go for the Age of Heroes. I could go for Age of Blood. All I'd have to do is march my army over to Malaga. But the Age of Heroes does me just fine. Just fine. This is what I was talking about. Local reforms in Edinburgh. You can see the city has no housing and is starving, but now it has a little bit more of everything. I'll get my culture power in 2 turns. I will build a town, and in the meantime, we're using all of these crazy improvement points to start building things that will give the city tons of resources. So for instance, the first one we're going to get, a plantation for a little bit of extra wealth. But next, after that point, I'm going to get a press, which turns that olive into 8 food and 3 wealth. Oh, big numbers, big numbers. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that an envoy? Oh dear, you declared war on me. You declared war on me. Well, at least in neutral territory. It's a good catch, that actually. I don't want the Ottomans grabbing that little minor vassal. They've already cleared 1 round here. Don't want them getting too much influence in this area. And as I'm at my population limit, let's spawn a settler. I'll get the population back next turn. And we're looking for an area with lots of grassland around it, so we could put some over by this pasture. That seems like a fun idea, so we'll go and send them over in this direction. I could wait for a pioneer, but I'm not going to right now. Good thing about waiting for pioneers is that you can put your towns further away and they start at level 2. The bad thing about using pioneers is that pioneers are a limited resource. Even if you get a few free ones around the map, they cost a lot of engineering XP, and when you're mound builders, that is not something you have a lot of, so I'm not going to mess around. Not this time. The reason I'm popping it here is that I can pick up a couple of pieces of grassland for some more mounds. Is my entire economy a mound-based economy? No, there's more stuff going on there, but I mean, not a lot more. That's basically most of my economy. Just mounds and nothing more. Second city, Manchester. It'll take a while to integrate, but it's useful having it there nonetheless. Seeing as I'm destroying all of the cities myself, I might as well build new ones. Look how close the AI is. We haven't even rushed the temple this time, but we've moved quickly by expanding quickly, killing lots of barb camps, gaining lots of extra things. Aggression really does pay off in this game. Bam, look at that. 1 hit, barb camp destroyed. A catapult, you say? Oh yeah, lovely, thank you. Oh, I can use that, pay some warfare experience to siege. Look at that, the target. Helps with my next attack. Perfect. And once again, with a totally different strategy this time, we beat Grandmaster AI to the 3rd age, and we set it this time, making sure that we go into the Age of Heroes. This time, rather than having a bunch of vassals and a thriving natural empire, we have a mound-based economy. That's basically what we're doing here. That's slightly annoying. Sanitation being that low. Literally, one of the things that I can improve coming up is sanitation on burial mounds. I'm just waiting for the engineering XP to kick in. Now that we've got the temple, this work camp will help us with nicely. Good thing about this build as well, as I just re-up my local reforms, is you can use this to peaceful revolution anytime you want. Imperial dynasty is a very handy improvement for nations such as this, especially if you want to make sure that your cities grow very big, very tall. The good thing about jumping into age 3 quickly as well is you unlock things like crossbows, very powerful units. Look at this, a barbarian catapult, a barbarian crossbow. I don't think the barbs stand any chance against us, let alone the actual 3 cities. I mean, honestly, they're just being pelted with crossbow bolts and leaders. And there you go, some more population in Edinburgh. It's basically a tactic where you rinse and repeat. There you are, ladies and gentlemen. 2 different strategies, one peaceful, one not. Both of them power you through the tech tree and into the Age of Heroes. From this point, you'll be able to take on Grandmaster AI, and look, my power has already rivaled the Ottomans. Wouldn't that be a shame if I now bring my crossbow and catapults all the way up to Ottoman borders? Wouldn't that be a shame indeed? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure there are improvements in this strategy. I'm sure there are things I've missed out. If you've got another strategy that works well early game to specifically and in isolation push research to the point where you can go to the ages first, then let me know. I'm always keen to know more about the game. The thing I love about Millennia is already strategies that seem to be multiplying, and the game, well, it feels different every time. But otherwise, thank you for watching. See you all next time. I need a few seconds because my hero is now going to find prophecies. I'll see you next time. Bye! And finally, a very special shout out goes to Glorious Petra, Matthew Wilkinson, Paul Coffey, Portland, Clint Hennis, Scott Stratton, Major King Kong, Skeptical Bear, Cinnamon Beard, Radiatore, Private Selection, Genoa Salami, Callum Billy, Garrett Gowan, Polar Beret, El Truant, Creston, RB Hedged, Mushkin Mandletort, Deeble Time, Burial, I'm Daft, Gooberman, Dr. Bobby, Polar Wallabear, Mixomatosis, NTG Golfman, Victor McPupster, Indigenous 68, Technology Poet, Teddy's Ursa, Zaf, Barnaby Rex, Sharky Bates, Charlie Bears, Flying Dutch Burbs, Nate the Great, Alex Frost, Joseph Biancani, Interplanet Janet, Mr. Awesome, Frankincense Battlezord, Sleepy Lab, Bookaluk79. Thank you everyone for your support. See you all in the next video. Goodbye!